The Moonlight Map Adventure. On the quietest night of the year, something magical appeared beneath Ethan's bed. Not a monster, not a ghost. A map. But this wasn't an ordinary map. The rivers moved. The mountains glowed. And right in the center, written in sparkling silver letters, were the words, "For the three brave children." That was the moment Ethan knew. This was going to be the greatest adventure of their lives. Chapter 1. The Map That Moved. The rain tapped softly against the windows while 13-year-old Ethan sat reading beneath his blanket with a flashlight. Across the room, his little sister Lily was supposed to be asleep. She wasn't. "I heard something under your bed," she whispered. Ethan rolled his eyes. "It's probably socks." "No," Lily whispered dramatically. It sounded magical. That got his attention. Slowly, Ethan leaned over the edge of the bed and lifted the blanket hanging down. At first, nothing. Then suddenly, a glowing piece of paper slid across the floor by itself. Lily screamed. Ethan screamed louder. And baby Noah, sleeping in his crib nearby, woke up laughing like it was the funniest thing ever. The glowing paper unfolded itself in the middle of the room. Tiny golden stars floated off the page. A little compass spun wildly. And then a cheerful voice said, "Greetings, brave adventurers." The kids froze. The map cleared its tiny paper throat. "My name is Marvin the Magnificent Map, and your help is urgently needed." Lily blinked. "The map talks." "It talks too much," Ethan whispered. Chapter 2. The Missing Moon Crystals. Marvin floated into the air proudly. The kingdom of Dreamvale is in terrible danger. The walls of the bedroom suddenly shimmered like water. Before the kids could react, whoosh, the room disappeared. The children tumbled through sparkling clouds and landed softly in a giant field of glowing blue grass. Baby Noah bounced into a fluffy pile of flowers and giggled. Ethan stared upward in amazement. The moon here was enormous. Fireflies danced through the sky. Candy-colored trees swayed in the breeze. And far away stood a shining castle made of crystal. Lily gasped. "It's beautiful. It's bedtime magic," Marvin explained. "Dreamvale only appears to children with brave hearts." Then the map suddenly looked worried. "But the moon crystals have been stolen." The moon above them flickered dimly. The glowing grass darkened slightly. "If the crystals aren't returned before sunrise," Marvin said dramatically, "every bedtime story in the world could disappear forever." Noah gasped loudly, even though he definitely didn't understand. Ethan crossed his arms. "So let me guess. We have to save the kingdom." Marvin spun in circles happily. "Exactly." Chapter 3. The Gigglewood Forest. The journey began through Gigglewood Forest, where every tree laughed whenever someone walked by. Lily couldn't stop giggling. Even Ethan started laughing when one tree made fart noises every time he passed it. Baby Noah laughed so hard he hiccuped bubbles. Suddenly, rustle, rustle. Something moved in the bushes. A tiny furry creature popped out. It had giant ears, striped purple fur, and wore tiny glasses. "I'm Professor Picklepuff," it squeaked. The creature pointed dramatically. "You must hurry." The sneaky sleep dragon stole the moon crystals and flew toward Tick-Tock Mountain. Marvin gasped. The dragon woke up. Professor Picklepuff nodded quickly. "He's grumpy because nobody reads bedtime stories anymore." Lily frowned sadly. "That's actually kind of heartbreaking." Professor Picklepuff handed Ethan a tiny golden key. "You'll need this later," he whispered mysteriously. Then he vanished into the bushes upside down for absolutely no reason. Chapter 4. The River of Floating Pillows. Soon the children reached a giant sparkling river. But instead of water, it was filled with floating pillows. Soft bedtime music drifted through the air. Tiny sheet bounced from pillow to pillow. A wooden sign read, "Warning, Pillow River makes travelers sleepy." Ethan yawned immediately. Oh no. Lily yawned too. Noah had already fallen asleep sitting up. Marvin panicked. "You must stay awake." Suddenly, giant sleepy bubbles floated toward them. Inside each bubble appeared cozy dreams. Warm blankets, hot chocolate, soft rain sounds, the world's fluffiest beds. Lily wobbled sleepily. "I could nap forever." But Ethan shook his head. "Nope. Adventure first. Sleep later." He grabbed Noah, Lily grabbed Marvin, and together they hopped across the floating pillows while fighting giant magical yawns. Finally, they leaped onto the other side. Just as the last pillow drifted away downriver, Marvin cheered. "You survived the sleepy river." Ethan yawned again. "Barely." Chapter 5, Tick-Tock Mountain. Tick-Tock Mountain was enormous. Giant glowing clocks covered its rocky sides. Every second echoed loudly through the air. "Tick, tock, tick, tock," Marvin explained nervously. "The mountain controls bedtime itself." Lily's eyes widened. "If the clocks stop, kids everywhere stay awake forever," Marvin finished. "No," Ethan whispered dramatically. "Not bedtime chaos." Halfway up the mountain, they heard a deep rumble. Then another, and another. A gigantic shadow flew overhead. The sneaky sleep dragon had arrived. He wasn't scary exactly, more fluffy than fierce. His scales shimmered midnight blue, and smoke puffed from his nose every time he sneezed. But wrapped around his tail were the missing moon crystals. The dragon landed with a boom. "Who disturbs my nap?" he roared. Noah clapped excitedly. The dragon blinked. "Is that baby applauding me?" Chapter 6, The Truth About the Dragon. The children quickly discovered something surprising. The dragon wasn't evil at all. He was lonely, very lonely. For hundreds of years, the dragon sighed. Children stopped believing in bedtime adventures. He sniffled sadly. They only watch noisy things now. Lily sat beside him gently. "I still love bedtime stories." Ethan nodded. "Me too." The dragon's giant eyes filled with tears. Real sparkling dragon tears. "I only stole the moon crystals because I wanted everyone to remember bedtime magic again." Noah crawled onto the dragon's giant paw and hugged it. The dragon instantly melted emotionally. "Oh dear," Marvin whispered. The baby used the ancient cuddle technique. The dragon laughed for the first time in years. The mountain clocks began glowing brighter. The moon above Dreamvale slowly returned to normal. Chapter 7, The Midnight Festival. That night, Dreamvale threw the biggest celebration in history. Fireworks painted the sky. Candy clouds floated overhead. The dragon gave children rides through the stars. Professor Picklepuff performed terrible magic tricks. And Noah somehow won a pie-eating contest despite only having 2 teeth. Kingdom musicians played sleepy lullabies while glowing lanterns floated into the night sky. Then Queen Luna herself approached the children. Her silver dress shimmered like moonlight. "You saved bedtime magic," she said kindly. She handed Ethan, Lily, and Noah tiny crystal stars. "Whenever you need another adventure, simply place these beneath your pillows." Marvin wiped a tiny tear from his paper corner. "I'm so proud of you brave adventurers." Then suddenly, whoosh, the world spun with sparkles again. Final chapter, home again. The children blinked. They were back in their bedroom. Rain still tapped softly against the windows. Everything looked normal. Almost. Because sitting on Ethan's desk was a tiny glowing moon crystal. Lily smiled sleepily. "So that was real." Noah burped a bubble. Marvin's tiny voice whispered from under the bed. "Until next bedtime adventure." The room became quiet again. Soft. Peaceful. Safe. And as the children drifted off to sleep, the moon outside glowed just a little brighter than before. Ending tease for part 2. Later that night, beneath Lily's pillow, another magical map slowly unfolded. And this one led somewhere even stranger. The Land of Lost Dreams. The Moonlight Map Adventure, Part 2. The Land of Lost Dreams. Long after Ethan, Lily, and baby Noah returned from Dreamvale, something strange began happening at bedtime. Children everywhere stopped dreaming. No adventures. No magical lands. No flying castles. Only darkness. And on the third night, Lily woke to the sound of whispering beneath her pillow. Slowly, carefully, she reached underneath. The magical map was back. But this time, its glowing edges flickered nervously, and written across the front in shimmering silver letters were the words, "Warning, the dreams are disappearing." Chapter 1. The Door Beneath the Bed. The room was silent except for the soft ticking of the clock. Ethan rubbed his sleepy eyes. Please tell me we're not doing another life-changing adventure tonight. The map floated upward dramatically. Oh, you are absolutely doing another adventure tonight. Baby Noah clapped excitedly from his crib. Marvin, the magnificent map, spun in circles. The Land of Lost Dreams is collapsing. Lily frowned. What's the Land of Lost Dreams? Marvin suddenly became serious. It's where forgotten dreams go. As he spoke, glowing pictures floated through the room. A pirate ship flying through clouds. A princess riding a tiger. A boy exploring space with dinosaurs. All the dreams children stopped believing in, Marvin whispered sadly. And up there. Then the floor beneath the bed began glowing. A tiny golden door appeared. Creak. Warm, glowing wind drifted into the room. Far below them, stars twinkled like rivers. Marvin gulped. Well, that's probably not terrifying at all. Chapter 2. Falling Through the Dream Sky. Whoosh. The children tumbled through the glowing doorway. They floated through a giant sky, filled with sleeping clouds. Dream bubbles drifted everywhere around them. Inside each bubble was a forgotten dream. A child becoming a knight. A dragon bakery. A jungle made of candy. Noah bounced happily through the air while Ethan tried not to scream. I am definitely screaming, Ethan yelled. Lily laughed as they drifted downward onto soft floating blankets. Below them stretched the Land of Lost Dreams. It was beautiful and heartbreaking. Broken castles sat abandoned. Toy trains rested silently on empty tracks. Giant kites hung motionless in the sky. The whole world looked sleepy. Too sleepy. Marvin pointed toward a dark, swirling storm in the distance. That wasn't there before. Lightning crackled inside the black clouds. And deep within the storm, something enormous moved. Chapter 3. The Keeper of Forgotten Things. As the children explored, they found a tiny shop glowing warmly beside a crooked road. The sign read, Mr. Wobble's Lost and Found Dreams. Inside, shelves stretched endlessly. Bottled laughter. Missing teddy bears. Half-finished bedtime stories. Even imaginary friends waited quietly on dusty shelves. Behind the counter stood a round little man with giant glasses and mismatched slippers. Customers, he gasped. I haven't had customers in years. He introduced himself as Mr. Wobble, Keeper of Forgotten Things. Lily noticed he looked worried. What's wrong? Mr. Wobble sighed sadly. The Dream Eater has awakened. Thunder rumbled outside instantly. Marvin dropped dramatically onto the floor. No, 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 no. Ethan crossed his arms. Okay, what's a Dream Eater? Mr. Wobble whispered. A creature that grows stronger whenever children stop believing in magic. The lights flickered. Outside, the dark storm grew larger. Chapter 4. The Train to Nowhere. To reach the center of the storm, the children boarded the midnight dream train. It ran on glowing moonbeams instead of tracks. Pajama-wearing animals snoozed in tiny seats. A sleepy owl served hot chocolate. And the conductor? A giant walrus named Sir Buttons. "Tickets, please," he boomed politely. Noah handed him a cracker. Sir Buttons nodded seriously. "Acceptable." The train raced across the sky at impossible speeds. Outside the windows, forgotten dreams floated endlessly. Lily spotted something sad. A little cardboard rocket drifting alone through space. "Why are all these dreams abandoned?" she whispered. Sir Buttons adjusted his tiny hat sadly. "Because some children grow up too fast." Even Ethan became quiet after that. Chapter 5. The Storm of Forgotten Dreams. Soon the train reached the edge of the storm. Dark clouds twisted violently overhead. Pieces of broken dreams floated through the air. Torn storybooks. Broken toy swords. Faded drawings. The closer they got, the quieter everything became. Even Noah stopped giggling. Then they heard it. A deep rumbling growl. Two giant glowing eyes opened inside the storm. The Dream Eater emerged. It was enormous, made completely of shadow and swirling smoke. Its voice echoed like thunder. "Dreams are useless." The storm roared around it. "Children forget magic anyway." The creature reached toward the children. And suddenly Ethan's happiest memories began disappearing. He forgot Dreamvale. Then Marvin. Then the dragon. Lily gasped. "It's stealing our memories." Marvin shouted. "Hold on to your happiest dream." Chapter 6. Noah's Tiny Star. The Dream Eater grew larger and darker. The storm swallowed the sky. Ethan struggled to remember. Lily began crying. Even Marvin's glowing edges faded. But baby Noah walked forward. Tiny, small, unafraid. The giant creature stared down at him. "You are not afraid of me," it growled. Noah reached into his pocket and pulled out the tiny crystal star Queen Luna gave him. The little star glowed softly, warmly. Suddenly Noah laughed. A bright golden light exploded outward. The darkness trembled. Inside the light appeared every forgotten dream. Flying pirates, magic forests, talking dragons, children laughing, stories being read at bedtime. The Dream Eater staggered backward. "No," it whispered. Noah held up the glowing star. And for the first time, the creature saw something stronger than fear. Hope. Chapter 7. The Truth About the Dream Eater. The storm slowly calmed. The giant creature shrank smaller and smaller until finally, a tiny shadow creature sat before them. It looked scared, lonely, sad. Lily knelt carefully beside it. "You were forgotten too, weren't you?" The little creature nodded. Long ago, it had once protected forgotten dreams. But after years of being alone, Ethan smiled gently. "Well, you're not alone anymore." Noah hugged the tiny creature instantly. The shadow creature squeaked in surprise, then smiled for the very first time. The entire land of lost dreams suddenly burst with color. The castles lit up. The toy trains moved again. Kites soared through the sky. And all across the world, children began dreaming once more. Back in their bedroom, the children climbed into bed sleepily. The magical map floated quietly nearby. Marvin smiled proudly. "You saved bedtime magic again." The tiny former Dream Eater peeked out from Noah's blanket fort wearing a tiny pajama hat. Lily laughed. "What do we call him?" Noah thought very carefully, then proudly said, "Bloop." Marvin nodded seriously. "Excellent name choice." Outside the window, stars shimmered brightly, peacefully. But just before the children fell asleep, the map suddenly unfolded one more time. A brand new glowing path appeared across its surface, leading deep beneath the ocean, and written across the bottom were the words, "Next Adventure. The Secret of the Sleeping Sea, the Moonlight Map Adventure, Part 3." The secret of the sleeping sea, the ocean had fallen asleep. Not calm, not peaceful, asleep. No waves crashed against the shore. No fish swam beneath the water. Even the moonlight seemed frozen across the sea. And deep beneath the silent water, something ancient was waiting to wake up. Chapter 1. The Map's Final Secret. One quiet bedtime later, Ethan woke to soft, glowing light filling the room. The magical map floated in the air. But this time, it looked older, tired. Its corners curled slightly as golden sparkles drifted from its edges. Marvin, the magnificent map, cleared his tiny paper throat. Brave adventurers, I'm afraid this may be our final journey. Lily sat up instantly. Final? Baby Noah gasped dramatically from his crib. Even little Bloop, the former dream eater, peeked nervously from under the blanket fort. The map slowly unfolded. A glowing blue path appeared across its surface, leading deep beneath giant waves. At the center of the ocean sat a dark, sleeping shape. Then new words appeared. The heart of the sea is fading. Suddenly, whoosh, water burst from beneath the bed like a glowing waterfall. A swirling ocean doorway opened. Marvin gulped loudly. Right then, into the magical underwater portal we go. Chapter 2. The Kingdom Beneath the Waves. The children splashed into warm, glowing water. But somehow, they could still breathe. Above them floated giant jellyfish lanterns. Schools of rainbow fish zipped through glowing coral castles. Sea turtles carried tiny libraries on their backs. And all around them rose the breathtaking underwater kingdom of Tide Glow. Lily spun in amazement. It's beautiful. Noah chased tiny glowing seahorses while Bloop bounced through bubbles. But something felt wrong. The kingdom was too quiet. No music. No laughter. No movement. The giant sea creatures slept motionless across the ocean floor. Even the currents barely moved. Then a voice called out, "You must leave before she awakens." A girl with silver blue hair emerged from the coral shadows riding a giant manta ray. She introduced herself as Princess Marina of Tide Glow, and the fear in her eyes told the children everything. Something terrible lived beneath the sea. Chapter 3. The Sleeping Giant. Princess Marina guided them through the silent kingdom. As they traveled, she explained the truth. Long ago, the oceans were protected by a magical creature called the moon whale, a massive glowing whale made of starlight and sea foam. Every night, its song filled the oceans with dreams, peace, and imagination. But now the moon whale is trapped in an endless sleep, Marina whispered sadly. Without its song, the sea itself was slowly dying. Ethan frowned. What put it to sleep? Marina pointed toward a giant dark whirlpool far away. At the center of the storm stood a towering black lighthouse. The water around it swirled unnaturally. Bloop shivered. Then he whispered, "The Silence Keeper." Lightning flashed underwater. And far below them. Chapter 4. The City of Sunken Stories. To save the moon whale, the children first needed the 3 ocean keys hidden across the sea. Their first stop was the City of Sunken Stories. Ancient ships floated frozen in glowing underwater caves. Books drifted through the water like jellyfish. Half-finished fairy tales echoed softly through the ruins. But guarding the first key was a gigantic crab librarian named Crabbington. He wore tiny glasses and carried stacks of floating books. "Halt," he boomed. "No one receives the story key unless they answer the ancient question." Ethan sighed. There's always a question. Crabbington raised one giant claw dramatically. What makes a story truly unforgettable? The children thought carefully. Magic? Adventure? Dragons? Then Lily smiled softly. The people you share it with. The giant crab froze, then slowly smiled. Correct. He handed them the glowing golden key. Even Marvin sniffled emotionally. Chapter 5: The Forest of Sleeping Giants. The second key rested inside a deep underwater forest where enormous sea creatures slept peacefully. Giant turtles, sleeping octopuses, whales larger than mountains. The children had to move carefully without waking them. Unfortunately, Noah sneezed. The sound echoed across the entire ocean. Every eye in the forest slowly opened. "Oh no," Ethan whispered. The giant creatures rose around them. Massive shadows surrounded the children. But instead of roaring, the creatures looked sad. Princess Marina explained quietly. They missed the moonwhale's song. Noah slowly held up his tiny crystal star. Soft music drifted from it. Warm, hopeful, and beneath the largest turtle, the second ocean key appeared glowing brightly. Chapter 6: The Lighthouse of Silence. At last, the children reached the black lighthouse at the center of the whirlpool. The ocean around it was completely silent. No bubbles, no waves, nothing. Inside the lighthouse, cold darkness wrapped around every wall. And waiting at the top, stood the Silence Keeper. Tall, shadowy, wrapped in drifting black robes. Its face hidden behind a silver mask. Its voice echoed softly. "Dreams are noisy." The Silence Keeper lifted its hand. Instantly, every sound disappeared. No footsteps, no breathing, no voices. Lily tried to speak. Nothing came out. The creature pointed toward the sleeping moon whale, trapped beneath dark chains outside the tower. "Silence brings peace," it whispered. Then Marvin floated forward. For the first time ever, the magical map looked afraid. "Because of you," Marvin said quietly. Children stopped hearing bedtime stories. The Silence Keeper turned slowly toward him and whispered, "Stories always end." Chapter 7: Marvin's Secret. The final ocean key floated into the air. The lighthouse trembled violently, and suddenly Marvin began glowing brighter than ever before. The children stared. "What's happening?" Ethan shouted. Marvin smiled sadly. "I was never just a map." Golden light filled the tower. The old paper edges disappeared. The floating compass vanished. And standing before them was something magical beyond words. Marvin was created long ago from bedtime magic itself. Every story ever told. Every dream ever imagined. Every child who ever believed. All of it lived inside him. "But magic survives only when shared," Marvin whispered. The Silence Keeper staggered backward. "No." Marvin turned toward the children one final time. "You gave stories life again." Then he floated upward, higher, brighter, until he became pure golden light. The entire ocean exploded with music. The moon whale awakened. Final chapter: The Last Bedtime Adventure. The giant moon whale soared through the sleeping sea like a living galaxy. Its song echoed across the world. Waves danced again. Coral glowed brighter. Sea creatures awoke joyfully. And the Silence Keeper? Its dark robes faded away. Beneath the mask stood only a lonely little creature who had forgotten how to dream. Noah hugged it immediately. Naturally, back in their bedroom, the children lay sleepily beneath glowing moonlight. Everything felt peaceful again. Safe. But something was missing. Lily looked around sadly. "The map is gone." Ethan nodded quietly. Marvin had saved the stories by becoming part of them forever. Then suddenly, a tiny golden sparkle drifted onto Noah's blanket. And another. And another. Soon the room filled with glowing lights. Soft whispers echoed gently through the air. Every bedtime story becomes part of the magic. Outside the window, the stars shimmered brighter than ever before. And somewhere far away, Marvin's cheerful voice whispered one final time. The adventure never truly ends. The end. The Moonlight Map Adventure Trilogy. The Moonlight Map Adventure. The Land of Lost Dreams. The Secret of the Sleeping Sea. A complete magical bedtime adventure series for your YouTube channel with sequel hooks, emotional moments, lovable characters, and cinematic storytelling designed to keep kids excited for every chapter.